World Report ranked Apex as one of the best places to live in the US. But with median home prices hovering around the 600s, the big question is Apex really worth it in 2026? I've helped families relocate across the triangle over the last several years, and the reality is this decision is a lot more complex than the marketing headlines you'll see online. So today I'm breaking down the 5 biggest pros and the 5 biggest cons that you'll need to understand before deciding if Apex is the right place for you and your family. Let's start with the #1 reason people move to Apex, the schools. Apex is served primarily by Wake County Public School System, which is one of the largest and highest performing school districts in the Southeast. Many Apex schools consistently earn A and B ratings, and students' performance regularly tracks above state averages in standardized testing. Class sizes in many Apex elementary and middle schools tend to be slightly smaller than the national average, and the district continues investing heavily in new schools to keep up with population growth. What's important here is the trajectory. Apex schools aren't stagnant. They're expanding, improving facilities, and adapting to the town as it grows. Families move here specifically for education quality, and the data supports that decision. And later in this video, when we talk about property taxes, you'll see exactly what this level of educational quality costs on an annual basis. So if you're seriously considering Apex and trying to figure out whether the schools justify the investment, I work with clients making this exact decision every week. And I'd love to walk you through the inventory and show you which neighborhoods deliver the best value. I'm Megan. I help clients relocate all the time. If you want more information about Apex or other cities in the Triangle, scan the QR code on the screen and I'd be happy to help. Now let's balance that with a quick reality check. As we move into 2026, Apex real estate market has cooled compared to the frenzy of 2020 through 2023. We're no longer seeing homes sell instantly with 15 offers over asking. Median home prices in Apex have flattened year over year, depending on the neighborhood and the price point. Homes are taking a little longer to sell, with days on market increased to 30 to 50 days. Price reductions are a bit more common, and buyers now have real negotiating leverage, something that we didn't see for a few years. And it's important to know that this isn't a crash, it's normalization. For buyers, this means opportunity for getting a lower price on a home, or more concessions and repairs from a seller, or even just a better timeline. For sellers, timing and pricing matter more than ever, and making sure that when you go to market, your home is move-in ready. For investors, appreciation has slowed, but Apex remains one of the most stable long-term markets in the Triangle. One of the biggest reasons Apex can sustain higher prices is where it sits economically. Apex is minutes from Research Triangle Park, Cary, Morrisville, Holly Springs, and Raleigh, home to major employers in the tech, biotech, healthcare, education, and finance. Companies like Apple, Lenovo, Cisco, SAS, IBM, Fujifilm, and other major healthcare and biotechnology companies are all within an easy commute. The Triangle continues to add thousands of new jobs year over year, and unemployment in Wake County typically runs below the national average. A lot of people I know in Apex work hybrid or remote, while others commute 15 to 30 minutes depending on the traffic and destination. Wage growth in the Triangle has helped offset higher housing costs, especially for dual income households. And one thing you should know is how much this job diversity matters when it comes to home values. What we've seen in the past is if one sector slows, the other continues hiring. This helps keep the housing and other markets in Apex stable and moving. Personally, a lot of clients that I've helped move to Apex have jobs that are either in the Research Triangle Park or Holly Springs. This gave them about a 20-minute commute while still giving them the lifestyle that Apex gives. But one more important thing to note, and I guess this kinda a negative aspect to Apex when it comes to commuting, is that one of the main freeways, I-540, is a toll road. So if your commute has I-540 loop as part of your commute, you will have to factor in a toll into your monthly budget. Now let's talk about what can be one of the biggest surprises for people relocating from out of state. Property taxes. North Carolina property taxes are lower than many northern states, but in Wake County they still add up, especially as home values rise. On a $500,000 home in Apex, annual property taxes might fall roughly in the $4,000 to $5,000 range, depending on the exemptions and location. Properties are reassessed periodically, and while North Carolina doesn't see the same annual spike as Texas or New York, your tax bill can still increase over time. Back in 2024, we did have all property values assessed, and most people are predicting a bit more stability when it comes to tax values, but it's something you always have to keep in mind in a market where home values keep going up year over year. And depending on where you're moving from, this could be more or less than you're used to. I've had clients move from California and New York who were surprised how low it was, and other clients from Tennessee and South Carolina that see an increase from where they moved from. Now, you may save on other monthly costs. For example, insurance rates, while they aren't cheap, they are relatively low. Also, electricity and other utilities across North Carolina are slightly below the national average. The upside with your taxes, though, is North Carolina has flat state income tax, and the overall taxes are still considered business and family friendly compared to many coastal states. So if you're moving here for a higher paying job, you won't get dinged as much as some other states in the US. But end of the day, taxes are a real monthly cost that you must factor into your budget. Apex shines when it comes to outdoor living. One of the biggest draws to Apex, the incredible parks, greenways, and outdoor lifestyle that make living here feel like a weekend adventure. The town has invested heavily in parks, greenways, and recreational facilities, and many neighborhoods connect directly to trail systems. You'll find community parks, playgrounds, sports complexes, and access to larger regional greenways. Take the Beaver Creek Greenway, for example. Recent extensions in late 2025 linked spots like Kelly Road Park, Apex Nature Park, and eventually tied into the bigger regional American Tobacco Trail. You can hop on and go for miles without touching a road. Perfect for families pushing strollers, dog walkers, anyone wanting a quick escape to nature. Apex in West Cary also hosts the famous Tobacco Road Marathon, which is one of the top marathons in the circuit that a lot of intense runners use to qualify for the New York and the Boston Marathon. Then there's Apex Community Park. With its 50-acre lake, miles of fitness trails, tennis courts, pickleball, volleyball, and open fields, it's a hub for everything from casual picnics to organized sports. Apex Nature Park has multiple state-of-the-art playgrounds, athletic fields, and a dog park, all while being just minutes from breathtaking water views at Jordan Lake, an area for boating, fishing, camping, and more. And you gotta think about this. It's not just occasional weekend use. Families walk, bike, jog, and gather outdoors daily. These amenities are well-maintained and integrated into the residential areas, which adds real lifestyle and property value. Apex's cost of living runs above the national average, largely driven by housing. Although they're below average nationally, utility bills can be higher in the summer due to the humidity and the AC usage. Home insurance, maintenance, and childcare costs are also notable for families. A realistic monthly budget for a family of four often lands north of $5,000 to $6,000, depending on lifestyle and housing costs. And like I said earlier, you may have to account for the cost of the toll road if your daily commute depends on it. Groceries and healthcare are close to national averages, but housing remains the biggest pressure point, which makes it important to consider how your house payment affects your monthly budget when planning a move. But being just ranked in the top 10 best places to live in America in 2026 by the World's Report, what a lot of people find is the cost of living is worth it. So now one of Apex's biggest differentiators is its small town charm with modern convenience, which is one of the reasons why it was ranked as the third best small city in America. Downtown Apex is walkable, vibrant, and full of locally owned restaurants, coffee shops, breweries, and community events. Unlike many suburbs, Apex has preserved its identity while still growing rapidly. The downtown has new restaurants inside of old historic feeling buildings. The city regularly puts on events in the downtown strip that attract people from all over the city and the state. There's also a lot of new development happening, and the city has done a great job of making sure developers keep the historic red brick feeling that the town has had for so long. I already talked about the parks and recreation, but the overall community in Apex is very active, with regular parks and recreation events as well as a number of performances at the community center. Apex is also home to a number of churches and temples. That gives residents community right in their backyard without having to drive long distances to make and keep friends. Now, like most of the Triangle, Apex is car dependent. There's limited public transportation, and while some neighborhoods are walkable, most daily errands require driving. Multi-car households are the norm, so most people are looking for homes with multi-car garages or adequate parking. Traffic has increased as the area grows, especially during peak commuting hours, and infrastructure is constantly playing catch up with population growth, but the good news is that the city is aware of it and is constantly doing infrastructure improvements. A number of the roads in Apex Apex are being widened, and the city is also building new roads to keep traffic flowing. But end of the day, if you're relocating from a dense, public transit-oriented city like Chicago or New York, Apex would be an adjustment. Most places in Apex are about a 20-minute commute to the Amtrak train station that gives great access throughout the East Coast. Although Apex is car dependent, it sits strategically between a lot of popular locations of the city, but also in the state of North Carolina. You're about 20 to 30 minutes from downtown Raleigh, close to RDU Airport and Cary Amtrak Station. Weekend trips to the beach or mountains are easy, and major highways provide access across the region. My husband and I regularly take the 2-hour drive to Wilmington during the warmer months to do a quick beach trip, and in the fall we love to drive up to the mountains and try the wineries and hiking that's only a few hours away. This central location in the state is a huge reason Apex continues to attract relocating families year after year. It gives families with kids in travel sports shorter trips, and if you have family in the state like I do, it makes weekend trips not as exhausting with shorter drives. Now, North Carolina weather is mostly a win, but it comes with some trade-offs. Summers are hot and humid, with heat indexes pushing into the upper 90s. Storms happen, but like I mentioned, major national disasters are pretty rare. Winters are mild with the occasional cold snaps, but very little snow. There's a running joke that nobody in North Carolina owns a snow shovel, which is only partially true, because we do have a lot of New Yorkers down here. We actually just had a major snowstorm in all of North Carolina, but Raleigh and Apex only got about 2 inches of snow, and it was mostly melted the next day. But sometimes the lack of preparedness when it comes to winter weather can cause schools and events to be canceled. End of the day, most residents adjust quickly and end up really enjoying North Carolina weather with all 4 seasons. The summer humidity is real and can be tough even for long-term residents. A lot of people make sure that they have an option for a pool or indoor facility for summer activities just in case things get too hot, which is thankfully pretty easy to do in Apex, as most of the neighborhoods have a community pool and there are some splash zones nearby. So just to wrap up, the data really does show that Apex is one of the strongest suburban markets in North Carolina. But whether it's right for you depends on what you value. So you're trading higher home prices for schools, safety, job access, and the quality of life? If you want help evaluating neighborhoods, current inventory, or whether Apex or another city in the Triangle fits your goals, then go ahead and scan the QR code on the screen. All of my information will be there, and we can set up a time to chat and discuss your goals. I help clients make this decision every week, and I'd love to help you figure out if moving to the Triangle is the right place for you. And if you want to check out another popular suburb that many are relocating to, here's a video I made about Cary, North Carolina.